Inside the Deck is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, sellers of Magic the Gathering and many other card and board games. GatheringMagic.com, #1 resource on Magic the Gathering, strategy, and culture.
Hi, and welcome to Inside the Deck. My name is David Green, host of Judge's Corner, and here I am today at Cool Stuff Games Maitland, where I'll be reviewing the latest set, Dragon's Maze. Our first card to review is Rael Zark the Planeswalker. He reminds me a lot of a Johnny Vengeant, in that his two abilities seem very similar, but all in all, he's a pretty weird Planeswalker, and has a lot of unique abilities that have never been seen before. So with Rael Zark, you can use 2 of his middle abilities before he ends up killing himself. This card can give you a lot of card advantage if used optimally, and because it's in blue and red, it can be utilized in the blue, red, and white flash decks. So overall, I think Rael is going to be a really good card and see a lot of play in competitive Standard. So the Maze Runners have received a lot of mixed reviews. Some are obviously better than others, while the rest are just kind of flat out bad. But who do we think is the best? Well, that award goes to Ixava, Blood Witch. This card may not see a lot of play initially in Standard in Rakdos or Jund decks, because there are other cards that are just a little bit better than it, like Falkenrath Aristocrat or Huntmaster of the Fells. But as soon as Innistrad block rotates out, it may finally have a home in a couple of decks. Most cards on pre-order are overpriced, but some are actually undervalued. Let's go ahead and speak with an expert on Magic Finance, CoolStuffInc.com, head of collectible card games, Jason Brown. So Jason, what card do you think is the most overvalued card in the set?
I think the most overvalued card in the set is Legion's Initiative.
And why do you feel that way?
I think the effect that you get from it isn't something you're going to want to play 4 of in a deck. Also, if you're looking for a way to protect your creatures, I think Boros Charm does a better job at that for less mana and at instant speed, so you have a little more surprise.
Okay, so if we're not playing Boros Charm, we probably won't play this card.
True. And I also think that the extra effect on Legion's Initiative of giving +1 power to red creatures and +1 toughness to white creatures makes you want to play more red creatures, but the best Boros creatures that decks want to play are white.
Okay, makes sense. So what card do you think is the most undervalued right now?
Right now, I think if you were looking for something to get while it's pretty cheap, is Renounce the Guilds. I think it's a really good removal spell. It hits a lot of the best creatures that people are playing in the format. Things like Falkenrath Aristocrat, Boros Reckoner, Loxodon Smiter, Obsidian. And since it hits non-creature permanents as well, you can get things like the Chenson Sphere and Assemble the Legion before they get their token.
So Edict effects are usually pretty good.
Yeah, and it only 1 white, 1 colorless. It splashes into decks pretty easy, and it's going to be easier on your mana than a lot of other things in the format.
Great. Okay, thank you very much. Besides the over-under on values of cards, some are sleepers. It only takes time or a certain deck archetype to make a bad card good. Let's go ahead and take a look at a few cards that have this potential. Gaze of Granite might make for a good mass removal spell in Jund control decks. It's reminiscent of Pernicious Deed, which was played in a lot of rock decks back when the invasion block was in Standard. So it wouldn't be a surprise to see it make an appearance in Standard Jund variants or even potential rock variants. Pyrewild Shaman is a unique card that works really well in aggressive decks. The only problem is that even though it's a recursive creature, you still need a creature to deal combat damage with. This card can be burdensome after a mass removal spell has wiped the board. So, kinda like Blood Scrivener, Pyrewild Shaman is good, but clunky. Savageborn Hydra may not be a Spike player's ideal card, but Timmy players will absolutely love this mythic. We think it's one to watch out for, as it's very reminiscent to Primordial Hydra, which is currently an $8 mythic that's been printed 3 times. If Savageborn Hydra doesn't see a reprint soon, expect this card to climb over the next couple of years. Now before we go, since I'm the host of Judge's Corner, I wanted to highlight the most rules-confusing cards from Dragon's Maze, and that award goes to the new Fuse Split cards. So the reason why split cards, with Fuse especially, are going to be really confusing for new players is because they haven't been seen in quite a while. And the rules are kind of different for when they're either being cast as opposed to when they're just sitting in your hand. And then when you toss in Fuse and mix the 2 things together, it becomes even more confusing for new players and old players alike. To learn more about split cards, check out our latest Judge's Corner episode covering the topic. So that's it for our review of the new set. It's hard to conclusively come up with a list of the best cards, so we decided to highlight some cards that we thought might be ignored. So thanks for watching, and until next time, have fun with the new set, may all your coins land on heads, and... Wait, this isn't Judge's Corner.